Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I would love to talk to you guys about enrichment. Now I have plenty of options here for you guys and I want to just kind of talk through them, talk about some benefits, some cons, some options that you guys really have. I also want to talk to you guys about what I'm doing with my dogs as I'm talking to you guys, because that is also a huge thing that really helps my dogs throughout the day. And this is basically net training. A lot of what I'm going to talk about today is net training, and that is pretty much where it takes no extra time. That's what net training means. And what I mean by that is I'm doing two things at once. I'm training my dogs and I'm talking to you guys. A lot of these things I can do while I'm doing something else. So if you work from home, you could say give your dog a Kong and continue working. It takes no extra time on your part aside from maybe a little bit of prep beforehand. So let's kind of talk about all of this. There we go. So the first thing I have up front is some lick mats. Now I have 4 different kinds, but these are probably ones you are most familiar with. And it's just different designs, the exact same thing. What I really like to do with my lick mats is put some type of wet food, pumpkin, or any type of puree. So it could be like canned food or some raw mints. And I will spread it across. And depending on the difficulty level, I may give it to them like that, or I may put it in the freezer for a few hours before giving it to them. My dogs have decided that if I freeze it, they can just bend it with their feet and it will just pop out. So for them, it's actually harder if I leave it not frozen. So that's what I do for my dogs. But you can kind of customize it to however your dog, whatever your dog needs. And then you also have a couple of other options for the lick mats. I like the bowl because it's different. It's not stable. So as they're licking, it's spinning around and it's just kind of another difficulty level for them. And then I like this one because it has the suction cups on the back. That way I'm able to suction it to the wall of the tub and I can keep my dog occupied while I'm giving them a bath or maybe trimming their nails or doing something like that a lot of dogs really don't care for. And I really do like the lick mats because your dog is licking whatever content you put it on it. They're licking that up. The act of licking is calming for your dog. So we're naturally, easily calming our dogs down by doing this. Really, all of these different examples I have for you guys today are they're things that calm your dog down easily. We'll go through them all, but all of these things kind of do the same thing, just in different ways. Next, we have the snuffle mat, as I'm sure a lot of you have heard. I really like this one because, again, it has suction cups. So I can suction it to the floor, make sure it's not sliding around, and it just keeps it stable for my dogs. Why I like the snuffle mat is because my dog is rooting around throughout the whole thing, and they're earning their dinner while they are doing that. So they're sniffing around, rustling, hunting for their food. The act of sniffing, there you go. The act of sniffing is, again, naturally calming for our dogs. So while they are enjoying this snuffle mat and I am maybe working or doing my own relaxing or maybe even cooking dinner, then they are able to naturally calm themselves down as they hunt through all of this. The next thing we have is our Kongs. I have 3 different kinds here. So we have the standard just Kong brand Kong that I love. This is a size extra large for my extra big guys. And this is, let's see what brand it is. It's Chew King. I'm pretty sure I got it off of Amazon. And I really like these two because they have really big relief holes. Why that's important is because if I fill it with some type of wet food, then I'm going to need some type of relief to stop that suction. The last thing I want is for my dog's tongue to get stuck in a Kong, and then that creates a whole new problem that we don't want to happen. So with these, I will, again, just like with the lick mats, you can fill it with so many different things. As like an easier level, I'll fill it with just kibble, and then I'll coat the top with peanut butter and then put that in the freezer. But again, you can give it to them not frozen, or you can give it to them frozen. It's completely up to you and the difficulty level of your dog. So one of the reasons I like to freeze it is because it does increase the difficulty. It makes it harder for my dogs. I'll fill it with, like I said, kibble, wet food, raw mints, some type of raw mixture. You can really vary. I know there are a ton of recipes online for just Kongs. And then I also want to talk to you about this little pie that I have. I got this out of a bark box. And I wanted to talk to you about this one specifically because it has a very, very, very small relief hole. And like I was talking about with the suction of this, since this relief hole is so small, I only put kibble in this. That way my dogs can nudge it with their nose and the food just falls out versus having to stick their tongue all the way in there and potentially it getting stuck because of the suction. So I make sure that there is a relief hole throughout as much as possible to prevent any type of injuries or anything like that. I've even seen some people put a straw throughout the entire Kong so that there is that relief throughout the whole thing instead of just at both ends. All right. So the last thing I have for you guys is a puzzle toy. This is just one that I have. I have tons of others in the other room, but this is just the one I grabbed. And this one specifically, you put kibble or some type of treat in these indentations, these little holes, and then you can cover it and even make it more difficult by kind of locking it in place. So then the dog has to move the knob and then move the fin before getting the food. You can make it easier by just covering it with a knob, or more difficult by doing both. And I really want to say to kind of meet your dog at the level they're at. If you make things too difficult for them, then it's going to create unnecessary, not good stress on them because they're going to give up and just get overwhelmed from it. The point of enrichment is to boost your dog's confidence, to challenge them, but not make it so difficult that they just give up. And it's also not supposed to be too easy that they find it boring. So that's why I gave you so many varieties of activities that you can do. There's so many resources online nowadays with how to enrich your dog's life. So I just wanted to give you a few options. I really, really like doing this throughout my dog's day, multiple times a week. So like specifically, for instance, my dog over on this bed, I'm not sure if the camera gets him or not, but he is an Australian cattle dog. Very, very high energy breed. And if I need to warm up his body or cool down his body to make sure he doesn't injure himself if he's full out sprinting or doing anything like that, then I can use some type of puzzle toy that slightly activates his body. So maybe a puzzle toy or a snuffle mat where he's just sniffing around, finding things, moving slowly before we go play fetch or before we go on a long walk or a hike or anything like that. In addition to that, if I did take him on a hike, or any of my dogs for that matter, on a hike, then I want to give them some type of recovery day. So that recovery day may look like a Kong in the morning, snuffle mat in the afternoon, and maybe a puzzle toy and a lick mat for dinner. So that my dog has time to recover. It's like when we work out really hard one day, we need a couple recovery days. Same exact thing. Lastly, I really want to emphasize the importance of this because This is honestly where a lot of behavior struggles come in. If your dog is constantly on edge, constantly staring out that window, just waiting for something to happen so that they can react, this is where you know you need to find a way to bring your dog's levels down. They're at this heightened arousal level and all the time. And so they're set off in an instant and are reacting at the drop of a hat. Whereas if our dog is calm, cool, and collected, and at a lower energy level or arousal level as a baseline, it's going to take them a lot longer to get to the point of reacting than it is on if they were to be at a higher arousal as a baseline. So I want you guys to drop in the comments more enrichment games, maybe some of your own dog's favorite enrichment games, as well as let me know if you've tried any of this, some other recipes you might have. I'm going to try and find as many links as possible to Amazon for these activities. I'll put them in the description below. One thing I also want to mention is that my course goes through a lot of enrichment games. It goes through a lot of, it gives you the answers so you don't have to go looking for them and finding all of them and researching and doing all that. It gives it to you. So I'm going to drop that in the description below as well. I hope you guys have a great day and keep on training.